Oh, another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is. Game, set, and match. Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Cleveland Racquet Club in Cleveland, Ohio, bringing you the Cleveland Masters with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors Volley and Corient. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors as well: Carnegie Investment Council, Compass Group, the Delaney Group, Elk and Elk, Gilmore Security, Trombold Equipment, and Viking. I'm Randy Markey along with Mark Innes to watch the men's final with Philippe Rams and Mike Wagner against Dan Hansen and Dan Hersh. Welcome, Mark.
Randy, it's a pleasure to be here for this men's final of the Cleveland Masters. There we see those four studs. Mike Wagner, hands on hips, just cheesing away. It's going to be a fantastic final. In the umpire chair, braving the elements, we have Matt Ottaway. He's being put up in the chair right now. You can see that yellow ladder getting ready. And let's introduce the players. Starting in that top left corner, black shirt, lefty, killer cut shot, we have Mr. Dan Hansen, and his partner is Danny Hersh in the gray hoodie. He's right-handed. That is Dan Hansen, Dan Hersh, and they are going to be taking on the powerhouse team from Pittsburgh, Mr. Philippe Rams and Mike Wagner. We can see Philippe Rams there in his signature blue. He's in the black vest, long hair. Next to him we have Mike Wagner in the whitish top. And we are in for a barn burner tonight, Randy.
We are. There's a lot of weaponry on that court. We got, between Philippe Rams and Dan Hansen, there's a lot of spin to be seen, and then we've also got a lot of firepower with Mike Wagner. He's got one of the best backhands in the game. He's absolutely like ice on top of the net. And then Rams is bringing a lot of offense from his forehand, his overheads. He's kind of got it all.
Absolutely. There's no doubt it's going to be exciting, and all the players know each other extremely well. You know, three of them lived in Pittsburgh and played a bunch together. They play each other at tournaments a lot. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Something that I think is going to be interesting is, Wagner really plays in the ad side a lot of the time. It could be because you said that backhand of his, especially off the backside screen, it's automatic. He hits it so well. He moves so well for it. And so then you put Philippe Rams in the deuce court, but that's going to be a lot of left-handed overheads going into him from Dan Hansen, who's really the primary overhead hitter on the team of Hansen and Hersh. So it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of affects stuff, and if Rams can really capitalize on all of this.
Well, and we saw in the semifinal match that when Dan Hersh gets his belt buckle on top of the net and allows Dan Hansen to take most of the overheads, that is their best advantage. That is when they are really lethal, and Dan Hersh takes things away from his opponents. Let's listen to Matt introduce the players.
To my right, in the deuce court from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philippe Rams, and his partner in the ad court from Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania, Mike Wagner. And to my left, in the deuce court from Mystic, Connecticut, Dan Hansen, and his partner in the ad court from Milton, Delaware, Dan Hersh. Hansen and Hersh won the toss and have elected to receive.
So Rams Wagner up to serve. Philippe's Rams is going to kick us off. They do something interesting where they start both back. Rams serves, runs in, and if anything's in his range, he volleys it. If it goes past him, then Wagner's there to redrive, and they hopefully get a transition play. So it'll be interesting to see how many sort of free points they get from this, or how often they take the net. There's one.
15 love.
That's what they're trying to set up with that play. They're trying to force a hands battle with the Polish assassin.
He is cool as a cucumber up there. If I start to trip over my own tongue, you'll excuse me. You'll cover for me, right? This is only the 5th match I've called today.
You've put in your time today, Randy. I got you. Tough screen drive there by Dan Hansen.
Game. Rams Wagner lead 1-0 in the first set.
Quick first game. Both these teams had really long semifinal matches. Both 3 sets. It was a grind. Hansen and Hersh were actually 5-2 down, and they won it in a tiebreaker. I believe they saved some match points. So I think both teams are going to have a couple loose games early on, but then really buckle down and find their way back and get into things. Great flick there by Danny Hersh. Just one of the cleanest ball strikers, Philippe Rams. Just so clean on that forehand. Getting the net on almost every return in most matches.
Everybody's a little loose right now.
Little loose. They'll find their way, though. It's been a long day. The men's final was meant to be played tomorrow morning, but due to some inclement weather coming through Cleveland, they moved it to tonight. So it's a long day for sure. But these guys are competitors. They're gonna settle down, find their way.
That's a great move right there.
Deuce.
Great close. He caught Philippe creeping. Crossed, stuck the volley past him. Smart play, Dan Hansen. Oh. Filthy. We see the switch in the backcourt. Getting Dan Hansen back to his regular side.
Those forehands down the middle. So smart of Rams to let that drop. Not try to hit an overhead off his heels from the backcourt.
And he gets that chance to really almost attack back in transition.
Yeah.
If Danny Hersh had have tried to force his way in there, he was going to have a tough volley on his hands and have Mr. Mike Wagner creeping up on him. That's incredible balance there by Dan Hansen. That spinning forehand is not easy.
Uncharacteristic miss there from Rams.
I think we're going to see a lot of these kind of points, though. You know, Danny Hersh has played Philippe so many times. He knows what to expect. He knows the spins and all of that is coming. So I think we're going to see him pretty comfortable there and a lot of those kind of points.
Game. Hansen Hersh tied 1 game in the first.
Tied up, couple loose errors early. Guys are jabbing at each other. Mike Wagner to serve.
There's that backhand.
So smooth.
Love 15.
Ambitious choice. Little half volley pickup off the Hansen overhead.
All.
There's some of that knowledge of each other, right? He knows Danny Hersh is crossing so much. They've played a ton. He just goes behind him, catches him in an awkward spot. Smart play by Philippe Rams. And this is the part that's going to be interesting for me is if Rams and Wagner, when they do get the net, how can they attack but still stay calm and not sort of give away too many errors? I feel like Danny Hersh is really going to grind it out in that corner. He's going to wait for the right shots. He's not going to give you too many errors. So it's going to be interesting to see what they find, what patterns they find work, and if they can stick to those and stay pretty disciplined.
Now, what we saw in the last match with Hersh and Hansen is that it was to their advantage when the play was slower.
Woo!
What a get.
Oh.
Wow.
15-30.
Dan
Brilliant.
Hansen reads that cutter, gets up there and just taps it. Incredible anticipation.
15-40.
And there's the break.
Hansen Hersh lead 2-1 in the first set.
Hansen Hersh break early, couple errors there by Philippe Rams. And that's, you know, he's the kind of player that you know going to get a couple of errors, almost in that same category as the Johan, where errors are going to come, but there's also going to be a lot of offense and good things that come from it. So it's not the end of the world, but you definitely have to manage those mistakes. And we have Andrew Ong busy in the booth there. He finished his semi-final match and he's enjoying a beer. You might hear him screaming or six. You might screaming in the background a bit. Dan Hansen to serve. Can they consolidate the break here? His serve's a little vulnerable. He goes softer and lower. Definitely something that both players could hit through. It's a chance to break back here. But his volleys are just so solid. He gets in quick and just so solid.
And he does do a fabulous job with that little push serve of keeping it low.
Epa! Dan Hansen opening the paddle face, cutting that ball back into the net.
Filthy.
We can expect to see more and more of that today. He's all warmed up.
Yeah, he really started to find that in the semis. He was a little loose with it at the beginning of the match, and he just turned it around, and that was really, I think, the difference maker.
On social media, Randy, that we've been doing a cutter challenge, and Dan Hansen sent his entry, and it was just like
25 or so.
Oh, it was just an ongoing ongoing thing.
15-30.
As that low push serve gets in, solid volleys. Oh,
Wow.
great spot.
15-40.
I've been on the other side of that backhand, Mark, and I can tell you it is a terrible place to be.
It looked like it, and there's that knowledge of players. Mike Wagner knew Danny Hersh steps up pretty close, and he aimed it nice and high, right on that forearm, right elbow spot, tagged him. They gave each other a good laugh. 2 break points here for Rams and Wagner to break back, tied at 2-all. Dan Hansen stays back, not worth risking it against the Rams return.
Game, Rams Wagner. Tied at 2 games all in the first set.
And just like that, they break back. Philippe Rams up to serve. They're playing their formation. Mike Wagner takes his time getting to the net, reading how play goes, making sure they have control. Really smart.
For the club players watching, it's really important to watch how Mike respects his position on the court. When the overhead is going to be hit by his partner, Philippe Rams, he steps off the court, gets out of his way, gives him plenty of room for that free swing, not trying to get involved in shots that aren't his to get involved with.
Absolutely, such a good. I'm hearing more and more pros sort of teach the terminology of that player on the left really being the alpha player, and the player on the right being more of the wingman or supporting role. And it's such an important thing to know your role in each point.
Tough to pick that roller up off the deck, control it. It's coming in with so much pace.
$30-15.
Hansen Hersh at the net. There's that heavy spin. It just hits the paddle and shoots to the right. So tough because you really have to aim way further left and kind of correct the course when that spin comes at you. So very tough to control. There's that redrive, forced hands battle. Mike Wagner is just so good at that short backswing and picking his spot. Really makes it tough.
A barrage of rollers.
Great roller and really jammed him there.
I like the discipline to let that one go.
Oh, oh, unbelievable. Off the net cord. Softens the hands up and just slices through that one. Let's have a read. Randy, we got a read from our sponsor here, Volley. Looking to lower your PTI? The secret's out. Early adopters are already leveling up with Volley's AI-powered trainers, and they're leaving the competition behind. Don't get left in the dust. Download Volley now at www.getvolley.com or search Volley Racket in your app store. Randy, I also saw they're doing something really cool where if you reach out and you have sort of some people at your club, it's called 30 for 30. They give you actually a 30-day free trial where you'll have the trainer at your club and you'll be able to use it for free. It's all you sort of need is, one person kind of spearheads it, and you get 30 other members or friends to sign on, and bing bang boom, it's on your doorstep.
Wow. Might have to do that.
But with 30 people that like you, as we mentioned in the women's final, Randy, it might be a smaller list.
That might be a short list.
I will sign it though. Randy, you need my signature? I got you. All right, 3-2, Hansen Hersh to serve. Been a little sloppy on both ends so far. All the players are sort of getting warm, getting themselves into it. It'll be interesting to see when they really buckle down and we see some longer points come through, how it's going to play out. Oh, wow. Mike Wagner.
Screen drive from Wagner.
He
is
can
just
do it from
devastating.
anywhere. From anywhere.
Love the pace on that roller.
He held it really well too. Could have hit it hard. That disguise makes it really tricky. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Great hands from Philippe Rams.
115.
And that ball came in hard, Randy, to soften that up. Unbelievable. And Dan Hansen got it as well. Some serious wheels there.
130.
Does seem early on. Up. Tags him with that one. Little love tap. It seems early on they're going at Hansen whenever the Rams Wagner get the net, that they're going at him in the deuce court. It seems like that Wagner roller right at him, and if he's trying to drive anything, Rams is there to cut it off and try and volley.
Rams Wagner. Rams Wagner lead 4 games to 2 in the first set. Good. New ball, yep.
Definitely a couple easy games there for Rams Wagner. Hansen Hersh will want to sharpen up here and try to figure out something. When they are in the baseline, it seemed like that's when they were losing more of their points. Mike Wagner up to serve. He doesn't do a whole lot with the serve, but you do have Philippe Rams lurking at the net there. But this is definitely a breakable game for Hansen and Hersh.
You don't have to do much when you got a guy like Rams at the net, though.
That is true. Mr. Danny Hersh thought otherwise, though.
Got away with that one.
Going at him. You love to see it. Oh. That's just one of their staple plays, Randy.
No, thank you.
It's unbelievable.
I do not want to be on the other side of that backhand.
And
that's brilliant.
And the more and more that happens, even though you do hit the ball past Philippe, you really have to read if Mike's going to redrive, because if he is, it's not worth going in.
Yeah. Caught the tape there. I like the look.
Hansen Hersh have had some good success when they do get the net. I think it'll be interesting to see how often they can take the net during this matchup. And so far they've had good success when they've been at the net.
If they can stay disciplined with Hersh on top of the net and allowing Hansen to take the overheads, where there's no confusion about whose ball is whose, and Hersh can do his magic, because he is so rangy up there.
Rangy, I like that word, Randy.
Like that.
So they got the net now.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's some
Game,
heavy,
Hansen
heavy
Hersh.
spin.
Rams Wagner lead 4-3 in the first set.
Solid game for Hansen and Hersh there. You see a nice close-up of the boys. But it's definitely going to be, as you say, if they can be disciplined on defending at the back, it seems like the strategy is going to be Wagner rolling balls into Dan Hansen in the deuce court and Philippe being up at net cutting off volleys or sort of baiting him into shots. But if Hansen can really be disciplined, waiting for the right screen drive, lobbing a little bit more down the line to change the look, and wait till they do get the net, it's going to be a really close matchup. Dan Hansen getting ready to serve. He's going low and slow, charging in, getting ready to make a solid volley. Big game here, Randy.
Sure is. See if Dan can hold here.
He stays back right off the go.
Neither Hersh nor Hansen really drive their backhand.
Oh, heavy screen drive
15
by
love.
Mr. Dan Hansen. And that roll is just a little too much in the middle there, Randy. It's sitting up for him. I'm sure not intentional by Mike Wagner, but that's going to be one of the dangers of their setup. Danny Hersh lurking all over that net.
30 love.
Dan Hansen is really catching it clean. He's, long semi-final. He's warmed up. He's feeling good. It's not taking long for him to find that right ball that's ending the point tonight. You see Wagner bringing out that roller, keeping a little bit more at the corner.
It was a great chip from Hansen there.
Really smart. He saw the space. Didn't have to do much with it. They take the net.
Well, that's what I'm talking about right there. When Hansen takes the net like that and just closes.
Oh, you get out of town.
Filthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, call the police of Cleveland. Dan Hansen is on the loose. Unbelievable. No, stop it. Oh my goodness, what a game. Highlight reel.
Good stuff.
Games all in the first set.
The boys are feeling good, Randy. It's tied up at 4-all. We're seeing a lot of success when Hansen and Hersh get the net. And we have Dan Hansen spinning the heck out of it. And Danny Hersh lurking all over, pouncing like a mongoose on anything he sees. Oh, there's that slow roller.
Beautiful roller. Great dig by Hersh. To your point, he's seen it before. And there's Mike closing the net beautifully. Ice in his veins.
And that's the tricky part, right? I feel like they're going away from Danny Hersh because
15 love.
he's seen it so much. So that's why they're going more and more to Dan Hansen. But Dan Hansen seems to have found his footing. He's not getting hurt by too many rollers right now. And it's inevitable that ball's going to come off the back screen hard at some point, and he's going to get that screen drive. Might be having to go back to the drawing board in a few.
30 love.
Got to stay disciplined for that look. Not an easy ball when you're spinning it around, Randy.
I don't know. I make 1 out of 10 when I'm doing that.
Hey, spin it around, go for it. Why not? He's making some big cutters. Oh,
Wow, that was a big ball. Very
30,
heavy.
15.
he's definitely giving it some real juice, Dan Hansen. He's keeping that continental grip, and he's just thumping it. No topspin, flat on that screen drive. All right. The Dan Hansen show. He is really catching it, so he's doing whatever he wants with it right now, Randy.
He is. And I got to tell you, this is a sea change from the semifinal match. He's seeing the ball well. He's hitting it clean. And to your point, he seems to be in complete control. And when Hersh is up there at the net like that, they are really at their best.
Wow. Hansen and Hersh with some serious momentum now. They were 4-2 down earlier, and they are just on fire. Seems like they're doing a little bit more of an evenly balanced attack here. Few at Danny Hersh, see how he goes, and then going back to Dan Hansen. Which I do like this tempo. It's not letting either of them get too settled, Randy.
Yeah. Well, and they're definitely keeping it away from those forehands. I mean, that's right there. That's where they're most dangerous. Neither one of them, by the way. This is the 5th set I've called with Hersh and Hansen. I have not seen one backhand drive from either one of them.
Yeah, they don't do it. It's not in their repertoire. And asked him what they want to be working on. They're like, I really want to develop a backhand drive. But in racket sports, it's a pretty big thing to double down on your strength. So if you don't have a backhand that's that natural, it's not that smart to spend time making something average when you might have a good forehand and you can make it, great. So it's we see them both finding very good success with their forehands, especially off the screen. Danny Hersh serving to close out the first set of the Cleveland Masters men's final. Look at that slicer through. Something Rams does really well, Randy, with that slice. He hits it very firm. It's not a very spinny shot. He really hits through the ball. It's firm.
Got some good pace on it.
30-15.
It's really the first time I've seen Hersh miss a volley when he's been on top of the net like that.
30-all.
Hansen got a little cute with that one.
He did. We saw this in the semi-final too when they were up. A couple, uncharacteristic errors from him. Definitely going to be something he wants to close out right here. Taking this first set for either team is huge. It's late in the night. They've all had long days. Whoever can strike blood first here is going to really be grateful for it.
They were all expecting to be in a hot tub at this point tonight.
Not
right?
tonight. Danny Hersh, he knows what's coming.
And that
Game, set,
literally is where they're at
Hersh.
their best. So
Lead 1-0.
first set to Hansen and Hersh, 6-4 over Rams and Wagner. Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
This is Johan Durant from SA Rackets. Just so you know, they forced me to do this tip for APTA. It's not going to be as good as the SA Rackets one, so follow them. But here comes the tip. It's very simple. On the volley, if you can, and you're close to net, really work on closing your racket face, because that way you can keep the ball down. If you keep your face open, they hit it hard, it's very difficult to get the ball in. Maybe a little bit more. Hey, hit it low here, donkey. Simple tip, but a good one. If you change from being on the net to off the net, obviously you want your face to be open. Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening.
Hi, this is Tyler Owens, Director of Rackets here at the Bayhead Yacht Club. I have a quick tip for you on the serve and first volley. That first volley is the #1 shot that's missed in paddle. What I notice a lot is people running through that first volley. They hit this serve and all they're trying to do is rush all the way in. If I hit that serve and I'm trying to get all the way up, power's coming at me running in, and it's hard for me to control that ball. So what I want to do is, instead of making it all the way up there, I want to stop when my opponent is about to strike the ball to set up for that volley. So roughly halfway. Right around the service line is my sweet spot. Then I'm setting that paddle ready for that first volley to send it right back to the opponent. If you're a person that feels like you need more time to get in, the tip that I have for you is to slow that serve down a little bit. So if I hit it a little bit slower, then I'm going to be able to make it a little bit further. I'm Tyler Owens. I hope you enjoyed this tip. I'll see you on the court soon.
And welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Cleveland Masters in Cleveland, Ohio. We have an empty court right now at the Cleveland Racket Club. But we have just concluded the first set where Dan Hansen and Dan Hersh took the first set 6-4 over Philippe Rams and Mike Wagner. What are we seeing tonight, Mark?
It was a fun first set, Randy. We see a little graphic of all four players there. That one of Dan Hansen was snapped right after he finished his third set, semi-final, so that's why he's all sweaty. But it's been a fun first set. Definitely going to be some strategic adjustments needed for Rams Wagner. You know, they had success early on. They were 4-2 up, and they were going at Dan Hansen in the deuce court. Wagner was really rolling the ball. They were getting some quick transition points. But Dan Hansen pretty quickly found his feet, and we've seen whenever they've taken the net and Danny Hersh sits on top of that net, and Dan Hansen just starts cutting it. They've been winning almost every point. Yeah, right now Dan Hansen is feeling hot, especially on the overheads. So if I was them, whenever I get the net, I'm giving him the ball and just let him go to work, because he's seeing it well right now.
Yeah, I agree. He's seeing it as well as he's seen it all day, and his spin has been heavy tonight, heavier than it was in any of the other matches I watched him play in, and he is feeling it right now.
Philippe Rams up to serve. We'll see what adjustments they end up making, but as we know, it's super important how you start a second set. First set's great to win, but you really need to have a good start to the second set to not go to 3. We can see over here they're not playing the transition game anymore. They're playing a little more straight up. Putting Wagner at the net. Rams is serving and coming in.
30 love.
Nice touch by Mike Wagner. This little flicker into the side, kept it low.
He held that for a really long time as well.
That is the key with that shot at this level.
Wow, they made quick work of that one.
Wagner lead 1-0 in the second set.
Well, that was the jump you said they needed to get off to in this second set. It's been interesting, you know, Hersh and Hansen all night. When they have been doing what you talked about at the beginning of this second set, they have been difficult to touch. As long as they can keep that discipline and keep Hersh on top of the net, while Dan Hansen does his thing, they're going to be it's going to be a tough putt.
Absolutely, and this is a big game for Hansen and Hersh to play tough here. You know, it's, again, you win the first set, it's easy to feel good about yourself, but there's a long match to go here. But it's easy to feel good about yourself when you're playing that hot. Dan Hansen with just a behind Danny Hersh's back, cut shot back into the net. Are you kidding me?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He is feeling it tonight. Mm.
15-30.
That's Danny Hersh's game, though. He closes, he crosses. He's gonna make a couple misses there, but that's what he does. So no harm, no foul. Hansen, Hersh have the net. Oh, we're gonna see.
Oh boy! Not only does he have the cutter, but he's been working on that let cord roller.
Unbelievable. Some guys have it all, you know. Ridiculous.
You don't have that shot at will?
No.
It's interesting to see Dan Hansen literally duck and let that drive go by him.
Super smart. They're playing some of that transition play that Wagner and Rams are sort of so used to doing.
There it is, right there, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
When Hersh stays on the net instead of, he started to back up, right? But he caught himself and he stepped back up. When he stays up there, they are brutal.
And this is really the nut to crack there for Rams and Wagner is how are they going to win points when they're at the net? They haven't quite figured out their system yet.
With the reach.
It definitely seems like Rams and Wagner, which is very smart adjustment, are driving more. You know, Dan Hansen within 4 or 5 overheads has been ending the point, so you can't give them as many overheads. What obviously makes it tricky with the dynamic is when Danny Hersh is sitting on top of the net, but they're spotting their drives, they're making him reach, so it's definitely a great adjustment.
Game, Robs Wagner. Robs Wagner lead 2-0 in the second set.
And an early break, they take a 2-love lead, Rams Wagner. This will be a really big game to win. If they can go up 3-love and hold the Wagner serve here, they're going to feel good about themselves. Oh.
15-love.
Really smart there, Randy. Just keeping that continental grip locked. He saw the space, pushed through. Didn't have to go for the big topspin drive. There was space. He was off the net.
15-all.
But to your point, I think, speeding it up a little bit, playing their game instead of Hansen and Hersh's game has proven to work at their advantage.
Absolutely.
The slower pace is to Hansen and Hersh's advantage. So if these guys can keep the pressure on them, make them play a little faster than they want to, they're going to get back into this match.
2 very rare screen drive misses by Mike Wagner. He's automatic on those shots most times.
Game, Hansen Hersh. Robs Wagner lead 2 games
And there's
to 1 in the
Hersh's,
second set.
real weapon right there. Being on top of the net takes all that time away. You're still in your follow-through by the time that ball's back at you.
Yeah, we saw Hansen thump it through, and Danny Hersh was just waiting to cross there. That break's going to hurt Rams and Wagner. That would have felt good to go up 3-love, especially going into the Dan Hansen serve. But they're still up 2-1. They still have a lot of positives. So we'll see how they play this game now.
Right, Dan Hansen to serve. Down 1-2 in the second set after winning the first set 6-4.
There's not many certainties in paddle, Randy, but one thing's for certain. Dan Hansen is on fire right now.
That is for certain.
The human highlight reel, not only is he cutting that overhead, he's driving off that back screen. He's making big plays. You got to ride this momentum if you're Hansen Hersh. Danny, don't talk to him too much, my friend.
Yeah, right?
Let's let the guy go.
Leave him alone.
Don't whatever he's doing right now, he's good. Leave him.
Oh, missed that one.
Love 15.
Big
Didn't
game
miss
for
it by
Rams
much,
Wagner.
though.
He did not. He did not.
Love 30.
2-1, 30-love. Big point here. Hansen stays back. Smart choice. Let's see what Rams and Wagner can do from the net now. Oh. Philippe Rams cutting it into that side screen. Enough spin that it does not reach the back screen. Filthy.
Carved that like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Game, Robs Wagner.
All right.
Robs Wagner lead 3 games to 1 in the second set.
That is going to feel good for Rams and Wagner. You've got Philippe serving now. Definitely getting some good momentum back.
Love. Love.
Couple quick errors coming in. It's so interesting how that second set can start. You win a great first set. You're playing on fire. It can just get out of your hands very quickly though, unless you come out sharp.
Love.
Hersh and Hansen find themselves in a quick hole here. Looks like he missed that one.
40-15.
Okay. Two quick faults. Uncharacteristic faults from Rams.
He's not happy with himself. He'll want to close out this game, though. 4-1 sounds a lot better than 3-2, Randy.
Sure does.
Oh,
That was fantastic.
wild.
Great hands.
Danny Hersh, it looked like he almost set a screen there. He poached, but he didn't. Dan Hansen reacted, it went through them. This would be a tough game to lose for Rams and Wagner. 40 love up. It's back to deuce. They'll want to grind this one out for sure.
Add out.
Smart by Rams and Wagner. They seem to be definitely icing Dan Hansen,
Yeah.
keeping that ball away from him.
Locked in. There it is.
Oh,
All right. I like the patience there. You know, Rams didn't force anything. He didn't press. He waited for his opportunity, and when it showed up, he took it.
and they need to, Randy. This is a big game. To lose a 40 love game where you could be going 4-1 up it really hurts your momentum. You can feel it right now. This, you know, losing this game could really take that momentum away. And that's what's so brutal about racket sports, paddle specifically. It's just, you know, you miss 2 serves, they get some good shots, and now all of a sudden you're squared up. So this is a big game on both sides.
And they've fought off 2 game points here. Let's see if they can close this one out.
Big Dan Hansen with the screen drive, just thumping it through.
And getting the benefit of a seam, it looks like, as well.
I was going to say, surprising miss off the screen. It's hard to tell if it's getting colder out there, maybe a quarter seam. Those things all make a difference.
Earlier in the day, you know, it was a beautiful, warm, sunny day. It was definitely a factor, and now it's feeling a little more like paddle weather. We're back down into the 40s, I believe. And but it's really been a phenomenal day here today. As a spectator, I'm not sure it's been great as a player, but
I think it's been great all around. You know, the Cleveland Racket Club has put on a great show here, Randy. Tournament directors, crowds came out, beers, keg, food, everything. It's really been a spectacle, and I'm sure the Cleveland paddle community appreciates seeing this level of play.
for certain. And definitely a shout out to Leah Morris and Laura Weiss and the whole Greater Cleveland Platform Tennis Association for putting on a terrific event here today. Leah Morris, tournament director, doing double duty, also playing in the event. Lost a 3-setter in the quarters. Could have gone either way. But really, she just does a phenomenal job. She and her whole team. And tour director, local favorite here, Karen Najedlik from the APTA. helping out. And Sheedy's here. It's been a great weekend.
Absolutely. Really tough point, Joe.
So far tonight, these long points seem to have gone Hersh and Hansen's way. Let's see if they can capitalize on the slow play again.
Yeah, it's tricky for Rams and Wagner right now, just finding, and it might just be this, right? There a lot of good overheads, trying to break rhythm, seeing where they're going to miss and waiting and being patient, and maybe that's how it's going to be, how they're going to find success. But so far it's been hard to see how they've been hurting Hansen and Hersh when they are at the net. As we said, Hersh is just such a great defender, and he knows the Rams overhead so well. He's seen it so much, so it just doesn't seem to be affecting him. And I think he knows, you know, he can probably be a little bit more patient, so that's probably in his head too. I think that's where, you know, wow, that's an incredible volley off a super tough drive by Danny Hersh. Great hands. He really keeps that forehand drive in the chamber for some big moments. The match point of their semi-finals is just, I don't think he had hit a forehand drive most of that tiebreaker, and just last moment climbed that side screen.
Yeah. Just a matter of time somebody was going to pull a trigger.
And that's a great point. That might be the points that Rams and Wagner are going to have to play. Not easy to play those long of a points, but at this moment, that's what they need.
Add in.
All right, let's see if Philippe Rams can pull it out here and hold to go up 4-1. That would be a big deal. There it is.
Game, Rams, Wagner.
All right.
Rams, Wagner leads.
Let's have a
4-8 to
little
1 in the second set.
read from our sponsors here. Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2024-25 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at corient.com. Randy, that's a big hold there for Rams and Wagner, and some serious mental toughness by that team to sort of come back from blowing a 40-love lead. It's not easy. It's not easy when you sort of mad at yourself and you can easily call in that game, but they needed it, and it's big that they brought that through.
And they really did, you know, they demonstrated some terrific discipline. They stayed patient. They didn't press, and they, you know, ended up being Dan Hansen, who went for a little too much on a ball that maybe wasn't the optimal drive, right?
15 love.
And I think a great lesson from that is when someone is hot like Dan Hansen was, they really did a good job of going away from him and of icing him. And that's sort of all you can do when someone's playing that well, is can you play keep away and sort of let them cool off, because no one can keep it going forever.
30-15.
It's late in the evening. A few more grunts from Hansen.
Giving a little extra energy there.
There's the Hersh magic right there.
Did it catch? Oh, he calls
Wow.
it good.
Wow.
Unbelievable
Rams
track down.
climbed the wire and spiked it on him. 97% out, 100% in.
Danny Hersh, Philippe Rams, good buddies.
40-30.
That's 3 missed returns for Rams. He'll want that one back. Definitely not happy with himself there. Oh,
He just picks his spots with such precision.
remember when they used to say don't drive from the green?
Yeah.
I guess if you technically
And don't
touch
drive
in
when the guy's
screen-
on top of the net either, but if you can
Game,
hit it with that
Hansen
kind of
Hersh.
precision, it doesn't
Franz Wagner
matter.
leads 4 games to 2 in the second set.
That would have been a nice game for Rams and Wagner to sneak away with. Rams, I'm sure, will be kicking himself over those 3 returns. He'll want those ones back.
Love.
I like Hersh holding his position there. I know it didn't work out for him there because, you know, Mike's able to just rip that backhand at him, but it's going to go his way more often than not if he holds his ground.
Something I think Rams and Wagner did well on these last few drives is they're going at Hersh. You know, when someone is crossing and moving, one of the best things you can do is go at them because they're expecting to move to their right or left. So if you can catch them out and jam them like that, we've seen sort of 3 errors come from Hersh crossing lately.
What? What were you saying?
Just thumping it.
Right at him.
He hit both of them. It's a twofer.
Do you get 2 points for that?
They should. Oh, there's that one that almost dies. Great defense by Danny Hersh. Way to dig it up. Stop it.
Wow.
That was just disrespectful, Randy. He just kept his Conti grip and ripped it.
The line. No chance.
And the thing that's so hard there is you can't read it. You're thinking the guy's going to lob for sure. They're definitely trying to keep it away from Dan Hansen, rightfully so. But it does mean they're going to have to play some really long, tough points because Danny Hersh is an elite defender and he doesn't make too many bad choices. He's going to really wait for the right ball.
When you look at these lobs as well, they're just deep enough. They're not going for too much. They're keeping them, you know, for the most part, at the service line. There's not a lot Rams can do from back there. It's when he gets to step in like that he's dangerous.
And that is one of the luxuries of being such a good defender, especially off the screens, is your lob actually doesn't need to be that good. It's hard for them to... Oh, he got it. Oh, he kept his paddle there. He tried to poke it over.
40-30.
Great get.
I love that he went back at him, though. You know, most guys would have gone back over to Hersh, and he just went right back at him.
So smart. Big pointer. Take a 5-2 lead for Rams and Wagner.
Game. Rams Wagner.
There it is.
All right.
5 games to 2 in the second set.
Some really smart strategic adjustments there by Rams and Wagner. They definitely iced Dan Hansen They knew that meant they're going to have to play a lot longer points, and they're being disciplined and they're doing it. And we're seeing the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, and you're seeing that Philippe Rams, who's typically in there, really dicing and slicing and cutting everything, he dialed that back. He was picking his spots. He was keeping it away from their weapons in the middle and just playing smart, slow, sidewire. And neither one of these guys has hit a drive all day from their backhand side.
No,
and, that discipline, I think, is what's been paying off for them here in this second set.
Agree completely. Something I know he's been working on is trying to mix up the pace and the variety of the overheads, not hitting the same sort of spin and pace the whole time, because guys just get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, that it's not fooling anybody, right? It's not there's Hansen again. That brilliant poke.
15 love.
It's so tricky because with that grip, you can actually, even if someone kind of cuts it at you, you can block it back and just use their pace because they're so out of position anyway. So it's when someone is doing that
maybe
kind of
you
stuff.
can. I can't.
But really
but Hansen
good.
clearly can.
Really good play.
30 love.
Rams, Wagner get the net. They're going to have to play one of those long points.
That was a little dangerous. Hansen missed that one, but he's made them pay a few times.
It's hard to fault him when he's this hot. It's also interesting to think over here, long day. Obviously, you don't want to give up any games, but maybe they don't want to grind out all the way back in the set, right? Maybe they want to get into that third set and play sort of tougher from there. It's pretty tricky if they did get all the way back in the set and they lose it, what that means,
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Long points, long games sort of change momentum too, so definitely an interesting thought.
Watch it.
Dan Hansen's he's really seeing the court well right now as well. He knows where the space is. He's holding shots well. Moving Rams and Wagner on the lob. Really creating a lot of space. And that's such a good thing to remember about the lob. That's the purpose of it. Can you create space between the net player and the net? Not can you get it over your opponent's head.
40-30.
I like Hersh's choice there. He didn't execute, but that was... he had the right setup.
For sure.
He had the right look. Boy, that Wagner backhand is heavy.
Absolute ripper, steps into it. Hansen couldn't handle the pace. Deuce. Rams and Wagner will love to close out this set right here.
All right.
And they may
Set
do it.
point.
They may do it right here. Solid volley, pushes it back deep.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Deuce.
Unbelievable. Set point down. Why not?
Tell me you're seeing the ball without telling me you're seeing the ball.
Right. He didn't even look that happy. He's hit so many tonight. He's like, oh, just another one.
Just another home cutter.
Oh.
That out.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I like it.
Okay. They're hanging around. It's a pretty casual volley there from Philippe Rams on a very heavy forehand from Dan Hansen.
You know, often you'll tell players to, oh, Carter Hansen tracks it down. Oh,
Wow.
followed with the roll into the neck.
The dinger.
It's a beautiful thing, Randy, when the players are just so loose and they're just, at this stage, why not go for it? You just get these highlight plays non-stop. Let's see what Dan does here. You can see Rams and Wagner trying to look for drives pretty quick, but just
Hersh
no
is all
looks.
over the net.
Right.
Game, set, Rob's
All
Wagner.
right, well, there's the
Match
set.
decided
We're
1-7
going to 3 sets, baby. We got ourselves a barn burner.
Grab the
here in
popcorn.
Cleveland.
Let's see some ads and get ready for this third
We'll
set,
be right
Randy.
back after a quick break.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
From SA Rackets.
And welcome back to Cleveland, the Cleveland Racket Club, the men's finals of the Cleveland Masters with Philippe Rams serving.
15 all.
Rams and Wagner playing Hansen and Hersh. Split sets. Got ourselves a barn burner here. Great play all around, and some real flash and pizzazz from both sides of the net, but also some good strategic patience.
You called it, Randy. It's been a fun match so far. Definitely some roller coaster of highs and lows. We see some over there, but yeah, definitely some really fun points and some smart strategic adjustments. Players really rushed back into this third set here. It's 10 p.m. They've had a long day. This is the third set for the Cleveland Masters men's final title. And Randy, I'm not sure if you saw what the trophy is, but it's pretty slick.
Got ourselves some electric guitars here in the heart of rock and roll, Cleveland, Ohio. Staying true to our rock and roll roots here.
Beautiful.
Home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just attended the induction ceremonies a couple weeks ago here in town.
Amazing.
That out.
One of the special perks of being in Cleveland.
This set is definitely going to test the mental toughness of Rams and Wagner. Rams is definitely not playing at the level that he can, and he's seeing some errors that he doesn't usually make. So, you know, when you can find a way to win when you're not playing your best, that's a special thing, Randy. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he can figure out here, and if they can stop the onslaught of Dan Hansen and the patience of Danny Hersh.
Hansen and Hersh smart to stay back, seeing that Mike was going to drive back.
Deuce.
Still didn't help them out, but it was the right move.
Really good play. All four players have been making great choices in transition tonight. Danny Hersh almost got... Oh! Great choices in transition. Dan Hansen chooses to do a cut drop shot in transition. That is unbelievable.
Because why wouldn't you?
And I think if it wasn't 10 p.m., the crowd would be going wild, and the players might look a little more excited too. Maybe not on the receiving end, but that was unbelievable.
Yeah, I like seeing Rams just hitting that flat overhead into the side wire, keeping it away from their forehand weapons. He's not trying to do too much. He's waiting for his opportunity.
Oh.
He's going to want that one back.
Game, Hansen Hersh. Hansen Hersh lead the 1-0 in the third set.
Hansen Hersh, early break.
One more game.
They're playing, Hansen Hersh are really playing their perfect game, right? Even though they lost that second set, it feels like they're going to play the game that they're playing right now, and it's sort of dependent on what Philippe Rams gives them. Mike Wagner's, he plays to his strengths. He's steady. He's not going to go too up or down. It's really going to depend on where Philippe Rams goes now. Early break, Danny Hersh to serve. Both teams will want to get a jump early on in this set. They're not going to want to go too deep in the hole and then have to fight back.
Love 15.
There we see the power eye. Danny Hersh getting low.
Yeah, this is when they're at their best right there.
Not easy on the quads, but hey.
Oh.
He was due a miss.
That's the first one he's missed in a long time.
He was due a miss. Very smart eye formation, forcing Rams to return down the line. Break some rhythm, shorter court.
15-40.
Rare miss from Hersh.
Crowd starting to get a little rowdy. Kegs are starting to get empty. We've got a third set here.
Game, Robs Wagner. Tied at 1 game in the third set, yeah.
Strange walkabout there from Danny Hersh, Randy.
Yeah. I think it's been a long day.
It's been a long day, and you know that's kind of the hard part here. Both teams have to sort of have the conversation of like, let's really compete, let's buckle in and close this out and win the set. It's so easy to walk about, and it's been a long day. Mike Wagner up to serve. 1-1, third set. Cleveland Masters guitar trophies on the line.
15 love.
Oh, just a little tattoo on the back. Caught him trying to cross. Good friends, they'll have a nice chuckle about that. And what's interesting, Randy, to me is how much the ball's coming off the screen, because it's not warm.
It's not warm anymore.
So
no.
they are thumping that ball for it to come off this much.
We're starting to see the footwork get a little lazy. Everybody's exhausted.
What's also interesting was with the ball, when it gets sort of loses all its felt, it's tough. It kind of moves around in the air. You know, it's tricky to see where it's going. So I remember the finals in Chicago Nationals when that happened. It's like a curveball coming at you.
Deuce.
You start to see these faults. You know, this is everybody's legs going, right? I mean, at this level, you don't see this many faults typically, but when you're in a, what is this, their 5th match today?
Absolutely, long
And
day.
They've had some long matches to get here.
Not
Hey,
easy to
Hansen Hersh.
see.
Hansen Hersh lead 2-1 in the 3rd set.
It must have been good. Right?
Must have been.
Wow.
Thought he missed it.
Danny Hersh with another big forehand at a big moment. They take the lead 2-1, but you can feel both teams are dead. This is really going to be a battle of who can kind of motivate themselves the best, which team can pick themselves up and really compete hard, yeah, and take it across the finish line.
Who's going to dig deep?
Not easy. It's cold. And as you mentioned, the footwork, you know, often you'll see these players sort of bouncing around, especially at a big moment like this. But they are just sort of conserving energy right now. It's been a long day. Who is going to be able to dig in, though? Who's going to be able to really take their moments and compete hard?
Where's your money?
You know, that's a great question. I think Hansen and Hersh are going to take this, to be honest. I'll be gladly surprised if Rams and Wagner can scoop this out, especially because they're not playing well, and that's the sign of a really, you know, mentally tough, sort of good team. So if they do, I'll clap and be really impressed. But Hansen and Hersh have the momentum. They're playing great, and they're not giving it away too much. You know, they've gone on a couple small walkabouts, but for the most part, they're playing pretty solid. So I'm going to give them the edge. What about you, Randy?
Yeah, I think as long as Hansen can continue to see the ball the way he's seeing it, and Hersh continues to be as aggressive at the net as he's been, I think it's theirs to lose. But I agree with you. I think, you know, listen, Wagner and Rams aren't the 1 seed for no reason, right? These guys do have the grit to pull it out, and they've got all the capability. But you know, it's those things there, right? That's footwork. That's heavy legs.
Absolutely not easy. And pretty demoralizing when you're on the other side of the net to Dan Hansen, who's the human highlight reel right now.
My goodness.
Oh, Mike Wagner sends it right back. Danny Hersh just looking so relaxed over there.
Good defense. Yeah.
Oh,
What
come
a
on.
dig.
What do you do right now? You know, and the more Hersh and Hansen can win these points, it's just so demoralizing.
Well, I think that's the key, right? At this point, you know, you have to win these points 3, 4, 5 times, you know, to walk away with the point, because nobody's willing to give it up.
And that's the tough part for Rams and Wagner, because if you have to work this hard to win each point, boy oh boy, it's tough to find the motivation, especially at a time like this where you've had such a long day and it is cold outside. And everyone else is drinking beers and eating pizza. You want to do that too.
I think Andrew Ong just grabbed a bottle of wine and put a straw in it.
Oh, he's earned it today.
Yes, he has.
Wow.
A rare miss.
Great grinding
Dan
point.
Hersh.
But if you're Hansen and Hersh, you still feel pretty good about that point, because, I mean, if Rams and Wagner have to work that hard to win a point, it's going to be a tall feat for them.
$40-15.
There it is again, right?
Game, Hansen Hersh.
That was
Hansen
all
Hersh
legs.
lead 3-1 in the third set.
It was very lazy.
And we look at those long points again creeping up, right? If you get that long point, even if you win it, and then you lose 2 shorter ones, it's so tough for your psyche. It's really a tough place to be. Hansen and Hersh are playing an awesome match right now in a fantastic third set.
And, you know, listen, Wagner and Rams are playing discipline. They're picking their spots. They're not putting the ball in dumb places. They're not hitting dumb shots. They're just having to hit 100 balls.
Yep. There's just no other way to hurt Hansen and Hersh right now, because Dan Hansen's on fire and Danny Hersh is just playing so smart and hurting them at the right times. Wow.
There's your human highlight reel. Carving that one in there.
This is the mark of a champ, though. If Rams and Wagner can find a way to win, even when they're not feeling great, even when they're not playing at their best, it's something special then. Something interesting there, Randy. You know, it's almost like Philippe Ram's overheads are too good, where the opposing team, like a Danny Hersh there, he knows he can't drive because they're just too good. But when you give him something that's like not that good and makes him think like, maybe I can drive this. Sometimes you get some bad choices out of it. Drew Broderick plays a lot like that in the sense he lobs kind of bad on purpose sometimes to bait guys to do stuff, just because why not, you know? It might be something similar for Rams on his overheads too. He's almost hitting them too good where there's no indecision, you know?
Hansen and Hersh lead 3-2 in the third set.
And every once in a while he throws one in there to your strength and you feel like you have no choice but to pounce on it.
Exactly. Let's have a read from our sponsor, Volley. Get Volley at my club. 30-day free trial with Volley. What's stopping you, Randy? Get 30 friends together and dive into a full month of elite training, completely free. It's that easy. Ready to level up your game? Head over to getvolley.com/myclub and start your 30-day free trial today.
I think you called it. What's stopping me is finding 30 friends. I'm not sure I've got 30 friends.
That's it's a good thing. Keep your circle small. No new friends.
That's a very positive spin you just put on
I
that.
think it's a good thing, you know. All right, some crucial moments coming up over here. Danny Hersh to serve. To go 4-2 up in the third set of the men's final here, the Cleveland Masters. Some awesome transition there.
Love 15.
Great first point there by Rams and Wagner. Fantastic return there. Just taking it on the rise, putting it down the line.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Rams thought it was going out.
Got the sky hook.
Old Kareem Abdul.
$15-30.
Danny Hersh has had 2 tough service games now. Smart play there by Dan Hansen. Just lobbing it up. Not trying to let the game get away from them too quick.
Yeah.
15-40.
Now you can see the fatigue in Hersh. He's played a tough match. He's been a grinder.
He absolutely has. And wow.
Game, Rams Wagner. Tied at 3-all in the third set.
And just like that, it's 3-all. And that, you know, as you mentioned, the fatigue. Dan Hersh making some choices that he wouldn't usually make. He sort of usually prides himself on making fantastic choices, being a very steady player. Over there, he just gave some errors that, you know, he doesn't usually.
Well, on those faults, you know, that's just legs, right? I mean, he's had more faults in this set than he's had all night. In, you know, 5 sets. So.
No, and he'll want to really obviously keep swinging at the ones he really likes, but can he let Dan Hansen still do what Dan's doing? He's been pretty lights out all finals, so when you have a partner playing that well, you don't need to force the issue too much.
That's the first backhand drive I've seen him hit today.
And it looked pretty good.
It sure did.
Should bring it out more
We
often.
should. Where's that been? Ooh. Unlucky there.
Love 30.
Mike Wagner's definitely going to have to sort of talk Philippe off the ledge there. 2 overhead errors, just not catching it quite right. They'll want to win this game.
Wagner's doing a great job of finding Hansen off the net rather than Hersh on the net.
Such an intense situation when Hersh and Hansen are at the net. It's just that so much spin coming at you. If you drive, oh, oh,
Wow.
no ways. It must have hit his handle and gone straight up. I thought he's got his arm for sure.
I was certain that point was over.
Rams,
Yet here we are.
here we are. Rams Wagner take the net. And you can just feel the difference in tempo, right, when Rams Wagner at the net compared to Hansen and Hersh. Hansen and Hersh are just doing such a good job of making things so frantic.
But Hersh has been so steady back there. Not doing anything special, just getting everything back, hitting very good lobs. Not giving Rams much to work with.
He's really using the screens just to slow things down as well.
And this has been their superpower. They're willing to be boring until they're not.
Until they're not. You said it perfect. I think Danny Hersh is just making really good choices for the most part. Little net cord.
15-30.
It appears that way. Rams, of course, is sorry that he's not sorry.
Wagner to serve, big point. Some great exchanges. Rams Wagner win the net. And usually you feel like when a team's at the net, they kind of always have the edge. It doesn't always feel like it in this matchup right now.
Sure doesn't. It has felt that way when Hansen and Hersh have been at the net.
Absolutely.
And usually,
wow,
that was good.
30 all.
But it's usually when Rams and Wagner are at the net, it is to their advantage. But it has not been against these guys.
Correct.
Hersh has been willing to just dig in. Stay patient.
Wow, big close.
40.
Takes a gamble. He knows that the drive might be coming. Catches Rams still up. Great play by Dan Hansen. Another great volley there. That's 2 points that Rams has managed to get with a low volley. Hansen and Hersh choosing to stay back, not wanting any part of that transition play with Rams and Wagner. Philippe Rams looks to be getting a little spark, a little pep in his step. Seems to be something a little extra behind those overheads.
Got himself a little second wind. He's going to leave it all on the court.
Absolutely. And that's why some of these points can be so big, where free errors or sort of small errors don't creep in. When you're trying to build momentum, you need sort of, he's had those 2 volley winners. He's had 1 point before that, solid point. So this is a big point to feel like he plays a tough point and starts moving well, just so he gets his momentum.
And that's the first backhand drive I've seen Hansen hit all day today.
Just saving it. He's looking good. Oh. There it is. Philippe Ram starting to get some momentum, starting to get fired up. You can see the feet are moving a little bit better, better body language. Definitely going for those shorter overheads a little bit more.
Got a little adrenaline flowing.
Organized chaos.
Let's see, we're gonna get a little driving screen drive clinic here, huh?
Oh, too tough.
Deuce.
That's a tough point to lose. That is the problem with, you know, when you know someone is going to be hitting their screen drive, which, you know, Mike hits it so well that he should, but it's easy to take that risk of charging in, and, you know, if your partner's up there, they get caught out. Smart play by Danny Hersh.
Yeah.
So well. You think he's just going to be pushing it down the middle, and then all of a sudden it's a cutter. Very different to Dan Hansen's cutter, where
you know it's coming.
You know it's coming, but you still can't get it.
That's just great hands up there.
There you go. We love to see a little emotion.
Wagner lead 4 games to 3 in the
Now he's getting fired up, Randy.
All right.
Rams Wagner.
Rams is digging in, man. He is trying to find it. Look at him.
And it's such a tough thing. Sometimes you love to see a bit of emotion, because sometimes you have to kind of force it to get your energy going, especially on like a damp, cold night, long day like this. So he played 4 awesome points there. He needs to get himself going, and we saw a bit of emotion there to make it happen. I'm excited for these next few games.
I like that smile on Wagner's face. Feeling a little energy right now.
He's like, that's the Philippe I know. Welcome back. Dan Hersh to serve. I think the challenge is going to be Dan Hansen and Dan Hersh. Can they sort of slow Philippe down? Just a few points that can kill his momentum, because he's going to be feeling good. Really smart point here. This is the kind of stuff that does kill momentum. These long points.
Hansen got caught trying to climb the wire there.
Just wide.
Didn't miss by much.
A little half-hearted. You know, obviously he wasn't going for his biggest drive, but he's still got to get the feet there a little bit. Easy to say when I haven't played 5 matches, though.
Yeah. I feel good in here. How about you?
Oh, fantastic.
15 all.
Dan Hansen is still looking fresh as a daisy, though. He has not cooled off all match. And these are the moments where you don't mind playing the long point when you need to, because you know the match is coming to an end either way. So it's a little easier than maybe in the second set to find it in you.
You're not looking at being a third of the way through a marathon.
Danny Hersh, we got to encourage him to hit this backhand a little bit more, Randy.
Apparently. It's his second one.
And then he, look what it did. Tough volley. That ball came in hard.
That seems to be his superpower. If he can just stay right there.
Oh, that is tough.
40-15.
Even though Hansen won that point, he knows that one was a lucky one. It still feels good to go your way, though.
Didn't even feign apology there, by the way.
He's like, I'm saving every ounce of energy. This hand cannot be lifted right now.
Boy, Hersh is hanging tough up there.
Wow. Danny Hersh with some really big plays at some really big moments, both in the semifinals and in this finals, Randy.
Boy, these teams are digging deep right now.
This is a big game. Philippe Rams is going to have to dig. We're going to see some more emotion out of him. He knows it's going to be a grind, but let's see what he brings to the table.
Again, another lazy overhead. Just a sheer exhaustion.
Yeah, and that's why this matchup is tough when, when Danny Hersh is in that ad court or a player like an Andrew Ong, just where they defend so well. It's tricky for Rams because, how do you end the point? And they're so patient. Somewhere they're going to get something they can hurt you on. It's not easy.
Mm.
15 all.
They get given one back.
A rare miss.
Hansen chooses to throw it up, didn't want to take the risk. Probably the right call there. If it doesn't feel good, put it up in the air. Dan Hansen's really played an awesome match.
He sure has. And he was the difference in their semifinal match as well. He was a little cold in the first set, and then he just dialed it up. As soon as he started seeing the ball, like he has in this match, he was lethal.
It's thrown in the back end for you. Someone must have told him what you've been saying.
They've each hit 2 now.
Oh, that's tough.
It was long.
15-30.
He missed it.
That is tough. That's the exact ball that he wants to attack Hansen in the deuce court. Not something that will usually miss long. This is going to be a trying moment right here for Rams.
Wow. That was cute.
Great touch. Great touch. 30 all. Really pushing Rams mentally here.
Great leave.
Oh,
Mike.
30-40.
Usually just an automatic shot for him, but just got a bit too far away from him and dropped low. And then you had Danny the Mongoose Hersh just pouncing on that net. Oh, it's that hold.
Deuce.
You just don't know what's coming. Same setup.
If you come in, he's going to push it behind you. If you stay back, he's going to cut it on you.
Rams is going to need some big emotion here. Get him across this finish line.
Good hands. Those are big drives.
Oh,
Add in.
It's a great dig by Mike Wagner. Smart play.
oh.
Deuce.
To your point, that's an automatic for him typically.
I like Hansen, what he does there. You know, most players would hit a push overhead, but he really spins it in, stays back, and just sort of lets his opponents take a swing. Another big play by Dan Hansen in a big moment. This could give him the lead 5-4, and they'll be serving for the Cleveland Masters final. I'm predicting a big play by Danny Hersh in this point. He's been clutch in big moments, and I think this one's going to be no different, Randy.
He has certainly been solid all night.
Oh, he's just lurking. Look at him. Dan Hansen just so explosive. What's Danny Hersh planning here? Nothing. He didn't get the chance. Great point by Ramsey Wagner.
Yeah, very patient. Didn't really give him a lot to work with. Hansen went for a little too much. Ends up hitting it under the net. I've got that shot.
Head out.
And there's Hersh doing his thing again. I'll tell you what, when he is on top of the net like that, he is a real force.
Feels like a must-win game for Rams and Wagner. Not because Hansen and Hersh are just going to close on the serve, but just emotionally it feels like, you know, they really need this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Oh, amazing defense by Danny Hersh. Waits for the right ball, gets that screen drive high on his forehand, and he just thumps it, Randy.
Makes them pay.
Big play, Danny. That's just how it's been.
Yeah.
Big play is in the big moments. He's made some really solid plays, and he's just made great choices.
He's made very few mistakes today.
It's still such a close scoreline. It just feels the energy just feels like Hansen and Hersh are you know, on top of the world. But again, it's the mark of a true champion to be able to win when you're not feeling good and you're not playing at your best. And Rams and Wagner are right here, but it's going to take a special push by them to try and come back here.
We know they have that in them. We've seen it before. We'll see if they can dig deep right now.
Something that must be comforting too is Danny Hersh has had a couple tougher service games. So, you know, the easiest way to give someone some life is a couple missed serves.
Yeah. I think he's had more faults in this set than he's had the entire tournament.
It does seem like they changed to a new ball.
Yeah.
Oh, just matrix moves, move after move, yeah. Stop it.
Love 15.
Just long.
Reckless.
If hitting the back wire halfway up is just long.
Just out. Put it up in no unclear terms by Danny Hersh.
It's a great spot. That right pocket.
Yeah, got a little net court as well. You could hear Dan Hansen saying sorry. Threw Mike Wagner off on the volley, but just great look. Oh, just running out with the paddle still. Incredible foot speed and really tough to keep your hands still when you're running at that speed. Those are some big time plays there by Hansen and Hersh.
Oh, that's a shame. They had earned the right to win that point.
15-30.
Solid play by Rams and Wagner. They definitely have a chance right here. carving it up. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? Dan Hansen with the cutter. Mike Wagner gets there, but Danny, big time Danny, just pushes it right by him. That is ridiculous.
Held his ground, stayed right on top of the net.
Oh.
30-40.
Big point right here. Tie it up, 5-all. Oh!
Deuce.
Can't fault him, that's his shot.
He hasn't missed many of those tonight.
Rams Wagner get the net. Oh, another big play. He's just been so effective off that back screen today. Both Hansen and Hersh have found so much offense off of it.
Well, when they're switched in the backcourt, you know, that's when they need to be pushing it down the middle instead of those side wires, and not sure they recognize that.
It's match point, Randy. Oh! Oh, he's going to want that one back.
He's been money all night.
Oh, that is his shot. Match point. You know he's thinking about it. This is where you have to regroup, bring it back.
Head in.
Second match point, Hansen and Hersh. We got big time Danny up to serve.
Big time Danny. I'm going to have to make him a t-shirt.
Oh, Mike Wagner, let's go. Not easy to swing on that return, match point down. Awesome return. Back to deuce. Definitely some momentum coming into play, yeah.
Head out.
Definitely some momentum, yeah. Rams and Wagner saved 2 match points, and now they have a break point to tie it up 5-all in the third set.
Boy, I'll tell you, Hersh is just brutal when he's up there on top of the net. So solid.
Oh. And he just knows them so well. Great get. Dan Hansen staying back so he can track it down. Rams Wagner at the net.
Here it comes.
So much transition play this match. And there it is.
Wow.
They break back 5-all.
Tied at 5 games all in the third set.
Well, we can't say it hasn't been exciting.
Danny Hersh is going to be thinking about that volley on that first match point. Mike Wagner up to serve. This is going to be so interesting right here.
15 love.
You know, Hansen and Hersh have had the momentum practically the whole match. Even the set they lost, you didn't feel like they, you know, went 2 down. It just felt like Philippe and Wagner played so well, but this match could go either way.
And you can see Philippe Rams has definitely got a little more pep in his step right now. He has found another gear. He's digging deep.
I want to hear another come on. Wow. far back in the court, just a heavy forehand, uses those legs, gets low, and just explodes on that one.
Wagner got what he wanted. He was there, and that ball was just too heavy.
Oh, gets caught in transition. That's the player they want. We saw Hansen getting suckered into driving. Didn't do enough. Rams made them pay. Solid point. Oh. Great defense.
There is no quit on either side of the net right now.
That's looking wide.
Rare miss from Hersh. Giving Wagner the opportunity to go up 6-5.
Wow.
Game, Rams Wagner.
That might have gone through the
Wagner
back
leads 6
wire
games to 5 in the third set.
into the hut.
This is such a big moment. If Rams and Wagner can win this match after really having very little momentum on their side and not playing their best game, that's really impressive. Hansen and Hersh, to see if they can turn it around now. We see Danny Hersh entering the hut here, smart. They're trying to see what they're looking for, possibly a new ball. He reaches for an apple.
Yeah, ball and apple.
Same,
What's the
same.
difference?
I do like that strategy over there, Randy, by Danny Hersh, especially after, you know, he had a match point. He played a tough game now that I'm sure is in his head. He's just giving himself a moment to kind of stall a little bit and not let the match run away from him. He knows it's do or die right here.
Yeah. Getting a combination of peace of mind and a piece of apple.
I thought you were going to say the piece of apple falling from his mouth. But yes, peace of mind as well. Very important.
He's fueling up.
Across the board. Just a dramatic close-up. We love to see it.
Reminds me of Chris Kattan on Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Mungo.
Danny Hersh getting ready to come back. Fueled up with one of Ohio's finest apples. Might find a new sponsor for the APTA after that commercial. Or the Royal Gala.
Or maybe a Honeycrisp, who could say?
Amen. Dan Hansen up to serve.
Wow. Almost took Hersh's ear off.
115.
And so smart. Just they know he's down. Go at him.
Yeah.
You can see Rams trying to really go at him here.
15 all.
Dan Hansen calls him back. Probably a good call at that moment.
Yeah, they both unloaded on those first two serves. Little confusion there.
Both teams just not taking any risks right now. Such a big moment. Oh.
That's a great roller.
Oh. Heavy overhead right into the body of Dan Hansen. Rams Wagner 2 points away from the victory. Oh.
30 all.
That's gonna hurt. But he's picked himself up so many times today. Oh,
We almost saw another Dan Hansen special.
the spinning forehand off the screen. He's had a couple good ones today, but it's match point, Rams and Wagner. And Mike
There it is.
Wagner.
Mike Wagner with that big backhand takes it home.
Wow, what
boys-
a comeback.
The boys from Pittsburgh dig deep and find the mental toughness to pull it off.
Randy, I'm going to go run down and get an interview with the winners courtside.
You got
that
it.
was incredible.
We'll see you momentarily. You know, we're going to take a quick break while Mark heads down to the court, and we're going to hear from our sponsors real quick. We'll be right back.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Philippe, come back.
Solo interview here.
All right. I am here with the Cleveland Masters champions, Mike Wagner, Philippe Rams. How you feeling, boys?
I'm tired.
Tired.
Long day,
amazing,
dude.
amazing feeling. We wanted to win this tournament for a long time. Mike
Yeah.
is originally from Cleveland, so when we started playing together a couple years ago, we promised him we were going to win, and we did. Let's go.
Congratulations, guys. That's incredible. That we're speaking about it during the match.
Yeah.
You weren't playing your best games.
Sure.
Philippe, you actually said, I hope you bashed me there. But you found a way to win, and that's really the mark of a true champion. Tell me a little bit about the ups and downs of the match there.
Yeah, I think the whole day it was kind of up and down, and especially the final. I mean, I think Dan and Danny played amazing. They played to their strengths, and we just didn't execute well enough in those moments when we should have. But like you said, we grind it, and we got the win.
Stay alive. Got to stay alive.
Any conversations or in big moments that sort of came to mind that how you got yourself over the edge?
Not really, just execute better. Stop.
I think just tighten things up, less loose errors. But yeah, stick with our game, stick with our plan. I think we like to play fast. We like to play the way we play, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we managed to execute well enough towards the end.
How incredible was Dan Hansen's human highlight reel tonight?
It's incredible. He's hit some insane shots.
10, 15 shots where you're like, that's just too good.
If
He's going to do that.
Yeah, but it's been an amazing tournament, so thank you everyone for staying up late and organizing it and letting us play tonight. So yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Mike, what was your favorite Philippe moment tonight?
Oh, there's too many of them. There's too many of them. Match
You
point.
can't think of one.
Yeah, just match point.
You won match point,
okay.
actually.
I
He
told
gave me
him
the, he told me where.
Tell him where to go. So
Philippe,
I'll take
favorite
the credit for that.
favorite Mike moment
The match
tonight?
point. The match point. I was like, I just rip it down line, rip it at Danny, and it worked. I think he clipped the lat cord.
It did.
That's what happened. but-
Right.
Well, gentlemen, there are some guitars here.
Amazing.
These are the trophies.
Sign it wherever you want.
Sign wherever I want.
Yeah.
Even on the front.
Yeah, definitely.
They're gonna sign.
Really big.
They're gonna be signing their trophies over here. It was an incredible evening in Cleveland. We have tournament director Leah Morris over here. She did an awesome job. Great performance by everybody. Cleveland Racket Club. It was a great event. Back to you, Randy. Awesome time. We need a picture.
Thanks for tuning in to watch the Cleveland Masters, and congratulations to Philippe Rams and Mike Wagner for bringing home the championship in the men's final. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Johan Durant from SA Rackets. Just so you know, they forced me to do this tip for APTA. It's not going to be as good as the SA Rackets one, so follow them. But here comes the tip. It's very simple. On the volley, if you can, and you're close to net, really work on closing your racket face, because that way you can keep the ball down. If you keep your face open, they hit it hard, it's very difficult to get the ball in. Maybe a little bit more. Hey, hit it low here, donkey. Simple tip, but a good one. If you change from being on the net to off the net, obviously you want your face to be open. Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening.